Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Ever get caught in that whirlwind of your own thoughts, feelings, perceptions? It's just this constant stream, isn't it?
It really is overwhelming sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. We spend our whole lives in this inner world, but how much do we, really get what it is and how it shapes everything we think of as out there?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? We tend to just assume what we see is, well, objective reality. A solid world, independent of
Right,
us.
but what if the window we're looking through is actually, creating the view itself?
Precisely.
So today, we're really diving deep. We're exploring the Mahamudra teachings, specifically looking at the nature of mind as presented in traditional Buddhist philosophy.
And this isn't just dusty old philosophy. It's practical, an invitation to investigate your own experience directly.
Think of it as a shortcut, maybe, to being really well-informed about, well, your inner world and how it connects to the outer one. We're using some amazing sources: Ornament of Sutras, explanation of bodhicitta, stages of meditation, even dialogues with the Buddha.
Yeah, these aren't just scrolls. They're like maps.
Yeah.
Really detailed maps to what's going on beneath the surface of our everyday perception.
Okay, so our mission, if you will, is to unpack this really radical idea that everything you perceive depends on your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is the bit that might really bake your noodle, that the mind itself doesn't actually have any independent existence either.
It definitely turns things upside down.
Get ready for some potential aha moments. Might need to rearrange the mental furniture after this one.
Could be.
All right, so let's start with that cornerstone Mahamudra view.
Yeah.
Nothing exists independently of the mind. Just sit with that for a second.
Yeah.
We usually think that table over there, or the sounds you're hearing, maybe the device you're listening on right now, they're just there. Solid, real, totally separate from you.
That's our default mode. Absolutely. This belief in an external, self-existent world, like it's a fixed stage and we're just actors on it.
But this Mahamudra view says, no. The entire world of phenomena, everything you see, hear, feel, think, it isn't external and self-existent in the way we usually think.
It's more like an emanation, a construct, maybe even a projection of the mind itself.
A projection, wow. So it's not just that my view is subjective, but the external world itself isn't truly external.
That's the implication, yeah. It's a real paradigm shift.
It's like finding out the whole universe is this incredibly realistic VR simulation you've been plugged into since forever.
That's one way to think about it. The Ornament of Sutras puts it very directly. It says, first, one must understand that nothing exists independently of the mind.
Okay.
Then one should conclude that the mind itself does not possess independent existence.
Right. The second part.
Thus, we transcend the duality of subject and object and abide in the sphere of ultimate reality.
Okay, transcend the duality of subject and object. That sounds important. Why is breaking down that duality such a big deal?
Well, think about it. Most of us live with this rigid split. There's me, the subject, looking at or experiencing that thing, the object.
Mm-hmm. The observer and the observed.
Exactly. Feels fundamental. But if the thing isn't really independent of the me perceiving it, and if the me also lacks this solid, independent existence, then that whole separation starts to get fuzzy. It dissolves.
Ah, I see. It's like realizing the movie screen and the images on it aren't separate things. One doesn't exist out there without the other.
That's a good analogy.
So this deep dive is really asking you, the listener, to consider how deeply ingrained that belief in a separate, objective world is for you. Are you willing to question it?
Because if you are, things get very interesting.
Yeah.
And maybe a bit unsettling at first. Like being told the sky isn't actually blue, it just looks blue because light scattering. It shakes a core belief.
Definitely. So, okay, if the mind is this unseen architect building our reality, how on earth do we investigate it? You can't, put it in a petri dish.
Right. It's not a physical thing.
Yeah.
But Mahamudra gives us a method, a precise two-part meditation practice.
Okay.
First is Shamatha, calm abiding. It's about stabilizing the mind, training it to focus, getting it to settle down.
Which, let's be honest, can feel like trying to herd cats in our hyper-connected world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah?
It takes practice, but it's the essential foundation.
And then what? Once the mind is less cat-like?
Then you move to Vipassana, analytical meditation. And this isn't just zoning out.
Right.
What's really distinctive in Mahamudra is that the main thing you analyze isn't the self or external things, like in some other traditions. Here, the object of investigation is the mind itself.
Okay, investigating the investigator. That sounds meta. How does that actually work?
Well, there's a posture, the 7-point posture of Vipassana, Specific way of sitting.
Okay.
Eyes open, gaze straight ahead, try not to blink too much.
Yeah.
Sounds formal, and it helps create focus for this deep look inward.
And then you start asking questions.
Yes, very specific, probing questions. Not just idle curiosity, but really pointed inquiries like, what is mind? Does it have independent existence? Does it have a form or a color?
Can you pin it down, find its location?
Exactly. How do I identify it? What are its actual characteristics? These aren't rhetorical. You're meant to genuinely look for answers in your direct experience.
And you probe even deeper, right? Like, is the mind dependent on the external world? Is it in the body?
If it's in the body, is it in one part, like the head? Or is it everywhere? Does it go beyond the body? You're basically taking this high-intensity flashlight and shining it into every supposed nook and cranny of your mind.
Okay, so you're doing this intense analytical search.
Yeah.
What do you find? Or maybe what don't you find?
Well, this leads us to two core concepts, emptiness and luminosity.
Right, now emptiness. That word trips people up, it sounds like. Nothingness. A big blank void.
That's a super common misunderstanding.
Yeah.
It's not about a void or absence in that sense.
So what is it then?
Emptiness here means the absence of inherent independent existence. It's not that the mind is nothing, but that it doesn't have any fixed, findable, self-sufficient essence you can grasp. It lacks an inherent nature.
Okay, lack of inherent nature. Got it. And the other one, luminosity.
Luminosity is the mind's inherent capacity to know, to be aware, the fact that experience happens.
Is it like a light? Like the sun shining?
That's an analogy used sometimes, but like all analogies, it's limited. It's more fundamental than that. It's the sheer potential for awareness itself. These are the qualities you investigate.
And you're saying this whole process, this analytical meditation, it's not just regular thinking, like mulling things over.
Absolutely not. It's a very specific, concentrated mental state. The Stages of Meditation text says it leads to the attainment of penetrating insight and bestows doubt-free, authentic, and self-evident wisdom.
Self-evident wisdom.
It's a direct, non-conceptual knowing. It often goes beyond words because it's not based on thought about the mind, but a direct seeing of its nature.
So you use this focused thinking to somehow get beyond thinking, like using a conceptual tool to break the grip of concepts.
That's a good way to put it. It sounds paradoxical, but that's the method.
Now, I can imagine some people listening, maybe skeptics, saying, hang on, you can't investigate the mind like a scientist investigates a rock. It's not material.
And they're right. From a certain perspective, it isn't a material object. But that very elusiveness, that difficulty in pinning it down, that's actually the whole point in Mahamudra. That's the key. The texts emphasize this. The Sutra of the Heap of Jewels, for instance, says something like, if you want realization, you have to comprehend the mind's true nature.
So the fact that it's not like a rock is precisely why this specific kind of inner investigation is necessary.
Exactly. The Buddha himself explored this. In the demonstration of the inseparable nature of Dharmadhatu, he asked his monks, does mind have color? Is it pure? Impure? Permanent? Impermanent? Material, immaterial.
Then what did they say? How do you answer questions like that?
Their answers are really profound. They basically said, its nature is immaterial. You can't understand it by trying to define characteristics or attributes.
Wow.
It resides nowhere. It cannot be recognized. It cannot be presented to others. It has no beginning. It has no form. The nature of mind cannot be discovered through sensory perception. Imagine trying to explain that at a dinner party.
Yeah, good luck. So what do? Well, I contemplate the unlocatable, beginningless nature of mind.
And the Buddha pushed them further. Can you find this immaterial nature inside the body, outside, or somewhere in between?
And the answer, let me guess, no.
Correct. A clear no. Which leads to this stunning conclusion. The mind is without specific characteristics, without location, without even duration and time. It's not a thing you can point to or contain.
It's like trying to grab the wetness out of water or the heat out of fire. They aren't separate things you can extract.
Exactly. They're inseparable qualities. The mind, in this view, is unlocatable, without a fixed essence.
And this leads to that analogy you mentioned earlier, comparing mind to space.
Yes, many texts do that. The nature of mind resembles space. Like space, it has no defining features, no center, no edge. You can't hold a piece of space.
Right.
Talopa, one of the great Mahamudra masters, said it so well. When you gaze into space, focusing on nothing, all objects of sensory perception cease to influence the mind.
Okay.
When you use concepts and analysis to discover the nature of mind, concepts vanish, giving way to enlightenment.
That's the paradox again, using concepts to transcend concepts. Like using that analytical mind, focusing it intensely on itself until the tool kind of dissolves in the process.
It's often compared to rubbing two sticks together to make fire.
Mm.
You use the sticks, the concepts, the analysis to generate the spark, the insight, and then the fire of that insight consumes the sticks themselves. The conceptual mind exhausts itself, revealing what's beyond concept.
Okay, so mind is like space, unlocatable, no inherent characteristics. But is it just like space?
Ah, good question. No, there's a crucial difference. Luminosity. While it's like space in lacking inherent attributes, mind possesses this inherent capacity for self-awareness. Space doesn't know anything. Mind knows.
Ah, okay. The plot thickens indeed. So this self-awareness, it's not like seeing a light bulb turn on.
Not quite. It's more fundamental. It's the capacity for the light bulb, the capacity for any experience to arise and be known. It's described as ineffable, beyond words, beyond ordinary thought. It's the experience of knowing, but without a distinct knower separate from the known.
Knowing without a knower and known, that's hard to wrap your head around conceptually.
It is. And that's why direct meditative experience is emphasized. But there's a big warning here.
Okay.
It's easy for meditators to experience a deep calm or mental clarity or even blissful states and think, this is it. I've found the nature of mind.
That's not it.
Those are still conditioned experiences. They arise, they feel good, but they pass. They're temporary states within the mind, not the unconditioned nature of the mind itself. Mistaking those for the final realization can be a subtle trap.
So feeling super peaceful is nice, but it's still just another appearance in the mind, not the mind's fundamental nature.
Exactly. It's like that analogy of the cataract patient seeing floating hairs. When the cataract is cured, the hairs vanish. But realizing the mind's nature doesn't make the world suddenly disappear or thought stop.
Right. It's deeper than that. There's a quote, isn't there? Something about seeing space.
Yes, from the Sutra of Transcendent Wisdom. It basically says, people might say, I saw a vast space. But what does that mean to see space? We use similar language, I saw the nature of mind for convenience, but in reality, there's nothing to see.
Nothing to see in an objective sense, but there's a knowing.
A profound, empty knowing, nothing to grasp, yet inherently aware. Luminous, unconditioned.
Okay. So if the mind is this unlocatable, attribute-less, luminous space, what about the external world? The one that feels so solid and out there? We touched on it, but let's go deeper.
Right. Our default is solid, objective, material world, separate from us.
Yep. Seems obvious.
But Mahamudra directly challenges that. It says the external world is fundamentally a construction of our own mind, conditioned by our concepts, our assumptions, and crucially, our stored karmic imprints.
Karmic imprints, like the echoes of past actions and intentions.
Exactly. Subtle residues stored in the mind stream that shape how we perceive things. The Sutra of the Appearance in Lanka puts it bluntly. In reality, the world entirely and completely depends on the mind. We can perceive and define it only with the mind. Independent of the mind, no material world exists.
Wow, no material world independent of the mind. That's huge.
It implies that what we experience out there is inseparable from our inner landscape, our mental habits, our karma.
Okay, but then, why does the world feel so solid? Why does the pavement hurt when I fall? It doesn't feel like my projection then.
That's the power of ignorance, according to the texts. Our ingrained belief in duality, subject-object, self-object, combined with these deep karmic imprints. They work together to solidify the illusion. Sarah used that analogy of cold wind turning water into ice.
Yeah, the wind is like ignorance and karma.
And the fluid water of mind seems to freeze into the solid ice of a perceived material world.
So the solidity is like a temporary state conditioned by these factors.
That's the idea. But again, remember the cataract analogy. When the patient is cured, the floating hairs disappear. But realizing the mind's nature doesn't mean the world vanishes.
Right. It's not like, poof, everything's gone. You don't become a ghost.
Exactly. You don't need, as you said, a new prescription for reality. The world still appears. Trees are still green. Fire is still hot.
So what changes?
How you perceive it. Your understanding of its fundamental nature shifts. You see it as appearance, as manifestation, not as inherently solid and independent. The Sutra of the Appearance in Lanka warns that believing in an independent external world actually distorts reality.
Because it ignores the role of the mind and karma?
Precisely. And it's not just our individual mind either. The texts also mention collective karma, shared patterns of perception and action that contribute to a seemingly shared world.
Ah, so my reality isn't just my projection, it's tied into a collective one too.
It's interconnected. Realization isn't about denying the world's appearance, but understanding its inseparable connection to mind and its ultimate emptiness. It's seen as empty in its nature, even while it appears dynamically.
Okay, so what's the payoff? What's the fruit of realizing this nature of mind?
If you understand the true nature of your mind, its emptiness and luminosity, you simultaneously understand the emptiness of all phenomena. Everything.
How does that work? Understanding one thing means understanding everything.
Think of it like knowing the nature of sugar is sweetness. Once you know that, you understand sweetness wherever you find it. Aryabhata's 400 stanzas says exactly this. As soon as we gain reliable perception regarding at least one phenomenon, we automatically begin to reliably perceive all others.
Because the emptiness we grasp in one thing.
The nature of every single thing, yes.
So realizing the mind's nature unlocks the nature of reality itself.
That's the claim. And crucially, this doesn't mean your thoughts and feelings stop.
Oh. I thought maybe enlightenment meant like blissful silence.
Not necessarily stopping thoughts, but realizing their nature as they arise. They still come up, thoughts, emotions, perceptions, vivid and dynamic. But you see them as inseparable from emptiness. They are empty in their arising.
Meaning they lack that solid, independent existence right from the start.
Exactly. They manifest, but they have no inherent core. They're like waves on the ocean, undeniably there, but inseparable from the water, and ultimately returning to it.
That's a powerful shift in perspective. There's another analogy, right? About sugar and fire.
Yeah, from the explanation of Bodhicitta, the nature of sugar is sweetness. The nature of fire is heat. And precisely so, everything that arises in the mind, by its nature, is emptiness.
So everything that pops into your head, every sensation, every feeling, its fundamental nature is this emptiness, this lack of inherent selfness.
Which completely changes your relationship to them. They're no longer solid binding chains, but more like luminous, ungraspable displays of the mind itself. It's a path to liberation from being caught by them.
Wow. Okay, let's try and bring it all back home. We've been on quite a journey here.
We have.
We explored this core Mahamudra idea, the world depends on the mind, challenged our basic assumptions about reality. Then we dove even deeper, finding that the mind itself, this architect of reality, is ultimately ungraspable, like space. No fixed attributes, no location.
But with that added quality of luminosity, of self-aware knowing.
Right. And realizing this doesn't mean the world disappears, but that we see all phenomena, thoughts, feelings, the external world as empty of inherent existence. That emptiness is their fundamental nature.
So what, for you, listening right now, this isn't just intellectual gymnastics.
Yeah.
It's a profound invitation to shift how you relate to absolutely everything. By engaging in this kind of deep questioning, this analytical looking, you start to listen to the very foundations of suffering.
How so?
Well, think about it. If you understand that difficult emotions, upsetting thoughts, even painful situations are ultimately mind-created manifestations lacking inherent solidity, their power to grip you, to define you, starts to lessen. Attachments, anxieties, their root is in grasping at things as solid and real.
So you don't stop seeing the world.
Not at all.
But you see through its apparent solidity. You see it as this dynamic dance of mind, inseparable from its empty, luminous nature.
It's like knowing the movie is a projection. You can still be fully engaged, moved by it even, but you're not fundamentally fooled into thinking it's the only reality. There's a freedom in that knowing.
A liberation from a very convincing illusion.
It's a shift from seeing reality as fixed and solid to seeing it as fluid, open, and deeply interconnected. Experience becomes more spacious.
Okay, so here's a final thought for you to chew on, something to take away. If the nature of your mind is ultimately ineffable, unlocatable, without fixed characteristics, and yet it's the very basis of every single experience you have, what does that imply about your sense of self?
Ah, the big one.
Yeah. How might understanding that seeing the nature of mind mean seeing yourself? How might that change how you interact with every moment, every thought, every person you meet?
It leaves us with a profound question, doesn't it?
It really does. What are you willing to investigate about your own mind?